Hello everyone, my name is Ricardo Villalobos. I'm a software developer manager in the Microsoft Developer Experience organization.
Hello, my name is Li Fengge, and I'm program manager from Windows Developer Platform team.
And today we're here today to talk to you about a tool that one of our partners, Mobilize.net, in collaboration with Microsoft, created to migrate Silverlight Windows Phone 8 solutions to the Universal Windows Platform, which basically is Windows 10 applications. It enables the top 80% of the apps to be migrated 80% of the way, which means, and we did that by analyzing the marketplace and recognizing the most common libraries and mappings and namespaces used. It's not supposed to be a full migration. It's supposed to be a good, significant head start when you are planning to migrate an old Silverlight Windows Phone 8. It includes mappings and also includes what we call helpers. It will recognize some of the libraries out there, the most common ones, and it will create specific artifacts inside your application that allow you to basically use the same functionality. It has an extensibility model. So there's actually a community around it that is contributing with different mappings and also with different helpers and support for a specific function. We'll talk about this later.
That sounds a good tool, and how to start.
Yeah, so I'm glad you asked. Basically, the way it works, it's very straightforward. You download the Mobilize.net plugin from the URL. Actually, we're going to show this, how it looks later. You open the Silverlight project on Windows, on the Windows Phone solution that you have. And then there's going to be a contextual menu that you can click on. You get a nice interface. You can analyze the log and the reports for the migration. And then there's what we call the last mile tweaks or fixes that you have to apply to the solution, and that's probably the most significant portion of this talk, showing you those patterns and how you can, finalize the migration.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So why don't you show us, Lifen, how this works?
Yeah, sure. And I do have an application ready to upgrade. Let's just take a look.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me switch over to. So I have a very simple weather app. So the weather app actually doing and grab the information from the REST API and doing something there to grab information from server and show in the secondary page. Let me just go ahead and run it, and so you can take a quick look. Yeah. So it's a Windows Phone 8 application. So everything it have to run in the emulator. So this is how the application looks like. And you can see this is the first page, a main page with a list of cities and its geolocation. And once you click one of the city, it actually go ahead and to the secondary page. In the meantime, it's talking to the backend server to get information from there.
So it looks like your typical weather application that uses a REST API, goes to a service, retrieves the information. And I noticed that you have a couple of controls in there that you're using, right?
Yeah, if you go to the main page, and there are two things, and you might notice. The first thing is a memory counter on the top right corner, and it gives you an idea and what's your current memory consumption and what's your peak memory consumption.
So that's for debugging purposes?
I'm actually using a third-party library called Coding for Fun, and it's called a memory counter. It's very useful for developers. And the second thing you can find is the About page. I'm also using the UI control from Coding for Fun library. It gives you a nice look and animation of the About page.
So you save your time as a developer when you're creating that About. Okay, great. Excellent. And the first one that you show, the memory counter, is basically a good tool to realize the footprint of your application while you're writing it, right? Okay, excellent.
And if you look at it here, and you can see the project type is Windows Phone 8.0, and I have a reference to Coding for Fun controls library here.
I can see that. Perfect. All right, so let's see how you will let's run the process of because you already installed the solution, right?
Yeah. So basically, and you have the link and to download the tool, and I already have the tool downloaded, so I don't need to go back and to download again. So maybe I just go ahead and show how the tool looks like.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's MSI you can install from the server, and then everything just go from.
And it's completely free, right?
Yes.
It's a free download.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So if you right-click here, and you will see the context menu called Convert to U.P. And it's there. And once you click, I lost focus, and I'm going to click again. And it'll show you the UI, and the UI is pretty simple. It just gives you an option to choose a destination folder and a button to start. So which means nothing will change your original project. Everything is in your new folder.
So the new one is completely isolated, independent from. That's good because it's not going to touch my old code in case I need it. In the future.
So you don't need to worry about your old code getting touched, and everything is in a new place.
Excellent.
Yeah. So let's just click start and let's take a look. Yeah, once I click start, and the tool start to analyze your project structure and your project type, reference, and scan your source code and convert them one by one. And it reference is mapping definition file. And once it's completed, it'll give you a full report. Let's say it probably take a minute to finish. Oh, it's finished already.
So what happened here is it mapped the different namespaces, it created different helpers for the recognized libraries, and if I'm not mistaken, there are over 2,000 mappings already supported and helpers as well, right?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Okay.
So let's just take a quick look at what the tool gives us. And the first thing you want is just open output, and you can see it's a separate folder compared with your old project. Everything is in the UWP folder. And the next
Which is what you were saying. There's a separate folder completely independent from the original one. Excellent.
Yeah. And there are view log and give you idea and what this tool is doing. And actually it's scan your folder structure and your project structure.
So this is the typical migration log that shows you which files were affected and how they were moved, etc.
Yeah. But the most important thing is the open report button and give you idea and what's a converting report and you can looking at the report is grouped by different files and the different arrows. We will look back at the report later and about it.
Sounds good. Yeah. Why don't we go back to the presentation and talk about this last mile fix because that's when you need it, right?
Yeah.
All right, so just summarizing what happened is we downloaded the plugin from the URL that is on the screen. It's a free download. You open the Silverlight Windows Phone project, you click on the contextual menu, you wait, it does all the work for you, and it's going to create a separate project, and then you have to apply now the last mile fixes. Why don't we try to run the application now that it's converted and see what happens with it?
Yeah, sure. Let's take a quick look. So this is a folder of the UWP project. I'm just double click and open it in Visual Studio. Because it's a new project and the first time Visual Studio we'll try to create an environment for this project, it might take a longer time. So the first thing you will notice, and the structure looks very same, but you will notice on the right corner the project type changed from Windows Phone 8 to Universal Windows, which means it's a UWP project.
So it means that I can take this code and I can compile it for different platforms, right? Correct? Without really changing it, which is one of the benefits of the Universal Windows platform, and something I cannot do with a Silverlight Windows Phone 8 application.
Yes, exactly.
Great.
And I think the first thing you want to do is probably just try to build and take a look at what's going on.
Okay, yeah.
Right? So let me just continue to try to build it.
Okay.
Yeah, I just hit the build button. And because it's a new project, so it's going to take a while to create all this
library. It's going to take a few seconds to find all the references and everything else.
Yeah. So and you can see, Visual Studio is working on that to add reference, everything. So more error shows up, but actually it were working on that to finish all the reference and start building.
Yeah, the first time I saw this, there were like 950 errors, and I was freaking out. But it's just it's the Visual Studio finding all the references and everything else, right?
Yeah. Okay, so right now you can see we only got one error.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Okay. So let's find out what we need to fix, and that's the last mile step that we were talking about.
Yeah.
Right?
Let's just.
Excellent. Yeah. All right. So let's start with some patterns that we have identified. And after looking at what developers are doing with this tool, again, we have found some of the typical things you have to do after running the tool. So the first one, let's talk about the first one, Lifeng. The first one is fixing third-party library dependencies. In this case, it will be those external UI libraries that we're using for the about, control, and also for the memory counter, correct?
Yes.
So let's see if that's related to the first error or not.
Okay,
why don't we go to Visual Studio and take a look at that error and how we can fix it based on this pattern?
Yeah, sure. Let's just switch back the right with Studio. Yeah. So this is a new project.
Yes.
And I think the best way just to double click the error. And when you look at the code, you will find the about prompt and its actual use. And it's actually from the third-party library or in original project, but now it's actually, I saw the code there and something might change.
So what I noticed is that the decoding for phone library is not a reference anymore. So actually that means that it was removed.
Yeah, let's see what we can find.
Okay, where do we find that in the report?
Yeah. So if you look at a report, and there are different files, and if you're looking at the CS project file, you will find there's a line say remove reference to coding for fun library because there's no mapping found for it.
Yep.
But if you're looking at the project, you will find it's actually using it. And
I was going to say, I mean, that's interesting. The library is not there, but actually the about method is supported. So I'm assuming that based on what we know, we created some type of helper that somebody committed or provided to the project, and now it's supported.
Yeah, let me show you.
Okay.
And if you go to definition, and you can see there's a new CS file open. It's under helper folder, and there are a bunch of CS file added to there.
Yes.
And the reason it's reporting error because it doesn't take 4 parameters. Excellent. So we can do a quick fix for that.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can see, and we can just comment out and to move forward.
And since the helper is part of the code, you can also tweak the new one, right?
Yeah, it's part of the code, and so you can change it in the way you want it later.
Great.
Yeah, let's try to build again. Yeah, this time. Well, so we got another error again.
Okay.
So this time is a memory counter, and it's actually, if I double click, and it take me to the error page.
So in this case, it didn't find a replacement. The tool didn't find a replacement for the memory counter, correct?
Yeah.
So at this point in time, we have 2 options.
Yeah.
We can create a helper for these, or we can find a replacement or a library that's compatible with UWP that does the same thing.
Yes.
Or since you were using this as a debugging mechanism, we can just remove it and move forward.
Yeah.
Correct?
And this also reflects in your upgrade report too.
Let's
if we
take a
go
look
to
at
the main page here, you can see the memory counter some element cannot be
I can
found.
see that. Yeah. So at this point in time, all we have to do to move forward, and again, another option is to find a replacement. But just for the purpose of this demo, we can just remove that control and move forward, and we'll get rid of that.
It doesn't affect the user experience at all, since
Yes.
it's for debugging purpose.
Yes.
Let me just remove this line, and there's another line here.
That is referencing that control.
Yeah. It's a super long line. Yeah, right here. Make sure I select. Okay. So that's
perfect.
Let me try to build again.
Let's try to build again.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, hope it worked this time.
Oh wow! Now it's compiling.
Yeah, it's compiled and without any error.
Perfect.
Yeah, let's just try to run it.
Yeah, let's try to run it and see what happens.
Yeah.
Good. It's looking good.
Yeah,
so far.
It's starting.
Great.
Wow. Yeah, we got.
I mean, it's not perfect, but now it's running. That's good news. Okay.
Yeah, let's play with it and see what it does.
Okay, let's click on one of these cities.
Yeah, sure. Let's click Redmond.
At this point in time, we'll go to the API. Oh, there we go. There's an error there.
There's some exception there. Yeah, let's take a look at what's wrong. Oh, it's a web exception, and the server returned 403 forbidden.
Okay.
Which means actually I sent my request, but it's rejected by the server. Might be something wrong.
Yeah, so this takes us to the second pattern that we want to show when you're doing last mile. Can we switch real quick to the presentation?
Yeah.
Excellent. So in this case, now we went through the demo of the third-party library dependencies. Yeah. So now we have to face the second pattern, which is fixing the reference to a REST API. And it could be different things, right?
Yeah.
Why this is not working. Actually, the tool takes care of the asynchronous calls.
Yes.
It translates any asynchronous calls, which is the typical REST API approach, to a UWP, but it might not be perfect. So let's take a look at how you fix that.
Yeah, sure. I did a quick search on the server, and I realized there's something changed on the weather.gov. Let me show the code here.
Okay.
So if we're looking at the code is actually talking to the weather.gov to figure out the data.
Yes.
But there's something changed from Windows Phone 8 and to Windows 10 UWP. Because this is the exact same code, there's nothing changed here, but why it's working before doesn't work now.
Okay.
And the reason behind is the weather.gov require all the HTTP requests sending to the server have user agent string in the header. And in Windows Phone 8, there's user agent string added automatically for all the requests. But for Windows UWP, and there's nothing there.
So let me make sure that I got this right. In Windows phone 8 Silverlight, the user agent was automatically inserted into the header.
Yes.
For the HTTP request.
Yes.
In UWP, you don't have that.
Yes.
So I'm assuming that the fix is to insert the header manually.
Yeah, you're right. And
Okay.
I actually already have the code snippet flag. Let me just go ahead and paste here. So you can see, and I'm adding a user agent value, and it's just something.
It's just one more header, and this was automatically inserted in Windows Phone 8. So you had to do some research for the API, but let's see if that fixes the problem.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's just try to run it again, and it will build automatically. So I change the code.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we know that it was already building and running. It's just the REST API call.
Yeah.
That it was not working.
Yeah, let's click the city again.
All right.
And waiting something. Wow.
Nice. Now you're getting information.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Perfect. All right. So it's working, but obviously it's not the best looking app.
Yeah.
Which takes us to the third pattern. Why don't we switch real quick to the presentation? So we went through the demo for the REST API. As you saw, Liffen had to do some research, and the conclusion was that he had to add a header manually, but that fixed the problem.
Yes.
So now let's talk about the third one, which is the fixing the layout for the UI. And this is typical with UWP because you're going to be supporting multiple types of devices. It can run on phones, on desktops, on tablets, even on Xbox or big screens. So this is something that you have to deal with no matter what. So let's see how you fix that.
Yeah, so
for this
that's very typical problem. And when you convert from Windows Phone application, because you will have more different Windows size, and normally for Windows Phone you might design only for vertical, and you might have hard code. Let's take a look at what's wrong with this old project. If you're looking at the main page here.
You're totally right. For Windows Phone, it's just a fix width usually.
Yeah, so we can find that there's a width defined. It's hard coded here.
Yes, I can
It's
see
not
that.
good thing, and let's just remove it so it can adapt to the size of the window.
So it's just going to automatically adjust for the width.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I believe there's another one in the forecast page as well.
Okay.
Let's just remove it too. Yeah, if we scroll down, and there should be a hard code. Yeah, there's another one.
Yes, I can see that.
Yeah, let's just delete it and see how it works.
Okay.
Let's run again.
Yep. I'm sure it's going to look much better.
Yeah.
At least it's going to start dynamically adjusting.
Let me just try to resize.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, wait, okay, let's click on it.
Yeah.
So the container looks better, but the content is still not adjusting. Okay, let's fix that.
Fix that too.
Okay.
By looking at the column here, there are a bunch of hard-code columns.
Yeah, I can see
what
that.
we want probably is the image and the description, and I can resize dynamically. And because I know the code, so I'm gonna just change this to
So you use an asterisk instead of the fix width. Okay.
Yeah, and then let's try it with just this simple fix, and I think it's gonna do the trick. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's
take a
just
look.
finish.
Yeah, much better.
Yeah, let's just try to resize and see how the.
Now, Liffen, you're gonna call me being picky, but I don't love those colors. They are hard to read.
Yeah, do you know why? Because most of Windows Phone applications have a black background, and that's why many applications pick the light color. So we're gonna fix that in a very simple way, and still the same XAML code, and you can see all the text block have a foreground color with a light blue and a white. And we're going to pick some color, and there are several ways to do that. And first, you can just pick the random color you want.
Yeah, one option is just to change them manually, but you can also take a different approach, right?
Yeah, another approach, you can just reference to a static resource.
Perfect, which is much better.
Yeah, but
just
here,
for the purpose of this demo, we'll do it manually.
Yeah, we're going to just...
add some... That's going to be an interesting combination.
Yeah, I just pick different colors. Let's see how it looks like. Yeah, that's right.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
We're very close to full migration in less than 15 minutes.
Oh,
there you go.
Now it looks like this.
Yeah, it looks better.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
At least you can read it.
Yes, and then if you click on the, so obviously we don't have the memory counter anymore, but there's a placeholder for the about now.
Oh yeah, it's same here, and let me just ask, yeah, here, and
Yes,
it's
I can see
about,
that.
and let's click it.
Yeah, so it's not perfect. You still have to add the information, but the placeholder is there. So it's minimal changes.
Yes.
This is great. So we had a fully functional application migrated from Windows Phone Silverlight to UWP, and the beauty of this, now I can use this code for multiple devices and form factors. All right, so great. I just want to spend, so we did that.
Yeah.
I just want to spend a couple of minutes talking about the extensibility model. So this is based on those, basically there's a mapping of namespaces, which is very simple, control attributes and other things that are just basically one-to-one mappings. And mobile, I spent a lot of time making sure that, again, the most common ones were covered. But also added this model where you can, if you know how the library works, or for open source projects, and this is important, with doing this with the permission of the original developers, taking some of that code and moving that to helpers that basically replace the functionality, and you can actually tweak once they are migrated. So they are source that you can actually change, but it gives you a significant head start, correct?
Yes, that's correct, and that's not limited to the 2,000 APIs, and we can add more.
Good. So you can see the URL on the screen for the community. We hope that you become part of this growing community and help with migrating more projects. This is awesome. Thank you very much, Lifeng. We appreciate all the demos, and this is very helpful.
Yeah, this is a good tool, and let's just have more apps converted.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for watching.
Yeah, thank you everyone.